You did Billy Cobham?
Yeah, sure.
That rules, man. Spectrum's one of my favorite most favorite albums.
Exactly.
That's just legendary, man.
It's really, really. Yeah, sure. Totally. Ah, fuck.
Hey everybody, my name is Joey Jordison. I'm from the band Vimic and also playing in the band Sinsanum. And I'm here just touring over here in Europe. Like, we're completing our tour. We've got like a few more days left. It's been an amazing run, and thank all to the fans for all your support. Vimic is actually out of the ashes of the band called Scar the Martyr that I did for a while, and basically we parted ways with our singer and our guitar player and our keyboard player, but there's still Kyle and Jed and Matt that actually filled in the last part of the Scar run. So I changed the name and we went and recorded Open Your Omen, and I did it with one of my best friends that replaced our old vocalist in Scar, Kalen Musmeshi, that I toured with when I was in Korn. And yeah, he's been an amazing asset to the band, and he's just a killer vocalist. So we finally got the right lineup. So it feels real good.
Get your hands in the fucking air! Hey, 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 hey,
There are many things I love about it. I mean, the simplicity of one heartbeat. That's all you need to move, to dance. It's just this. It's maybe the oldest instrument we have. And you have the most complex Terry Bozzio stuff. The thing is, it's just your instrument. It's not a guitar which everyone plays. No, this reflects your personality. So I love this ambivalence from absolutely primitive to super complex and very personal. This is what I love about the idea of drumming, but what is yours?
Very similar. The thing is, the simplest beats, that rock music or any music has been formed on, sometimes actually can be the toughest beats to execute and perform, because it's really easy to not respect a simple 4/4 beat because people always want to play fast. And sometimes a lot of drummers will try and rush into the technicality of if it isn't fast, or I'm not faster than this guy, or I'm faster than that guy, that I'm not a good drummer. My advice always is to start very simple and master your timing, and master the most simple beats that you can, and you just keep elevating from that. Trying to go right into playing fast all the time is not necessarily the best way to go about it, because if you don't have your foundation locked, it's hard to progress, because it's very hard to go back. I know a lot of drummers that just went into speed, and they have a very hard time locking into just a really simple groove, and it's really weird. So I'd say start from the ground up at the basics and move forward from there. That's the way I did it anyways, but it worked for me. That's all I can really say. It's
so much space you have to fill at the right moment with the right. And then you have to think about dynamics, and you realize that guys like Dave Weckl, they have 100 different steps of loud or soft, and you have maybe 4 or 5. And
the thing is, with playing simple, I would spend if I was to give advice to a starting drummer, everyone wants to play fast. That's just a musician. You want to be the Eddie Van Halen, you want to be the Dave Lombardo, and I understand that, and I was like that too. But I realized when I just kind of had to sit down and really get the meat and potatoes of what the drums really meant, because the song was the most important thing. So I went to kind of a rhythm and blues and jazz instructor, and I started studying jazz for a long time, and just straight up basic rock and funk. is like how I started, and just learning rhythms. Even though I was listening to a lot of metal at the time, and I wanted to like, you know, get into like, you know, the thrash stuff, and I was already doing that on my own time, but like as far as like studying and everything, I started really basic, and without that, I don't think I'd have the chops that I have today. So it really helped me out a lot. So that'd be my advice.
Sure. Do the things that are not necessarily fun in the first place.
Yeah, they're not fun because you want to go crazy, but I mean, there's the discipline of like, you got to realize that if you don't have your chops right, the song's not ever going to be right, because it's, you know, your songs are not drum solos. It's wide open. That's the best thing about music, is like you can do anything that you want with it, but always learn your basics first. The thing is, never lose sight of like what you were saying. This is what I like to tell people, like, you know, kids starting out, you're going to progress, always practice. But the thing is, I encourage kids to do is listen to an entire like catalog of different music. Even if you don't like it a lot, you know, stick with what you want to play, but never be scared to venture out and try to, you know, just learn or adapt to different styles of music, because it's going to really help out like where you end up like in your career. If there's something that like is challenging for me, I like to like attack it and like try and get out and like see if I can, you know, make, you know, some sort of sense out of it. It always seems to help, no matter like if I master it or not, doesn't matter. It's always if like, what did I learn, you know, this time, and like, you know, where am I at? And so that's what I like to like tell kids and everything about, like, you know, when you're listening to music, like never be scared to go out of your comfort zone. The thing is, you don't know. You never know. With me, like, I would never lose my sight of music. Like, music is actually, you know, really what really got me through a lot of it, because I'm like, there's no way this thing is going to beat me. There's no way that I'm not going to be back out on tour. There's no way I'm not going to play drums. It's not going to happen. You know, and I'd ask the doctors and stuff like that. I'd be like, you know, I'm going to be able to walk again, you know, and play drums. And like, honestly, the doctors would look at me and they wouldn't be able to tell me. And from that moment, I knew that I was going to beat it, and I was not going to let anything like stop me.
Yeah, at the same, there was a doctor who was saying like, your hand, you won't be able to change your career. That was what he was saying. Like, what the fuck? Yeah,
I'd tell him to fuck off, man. That's not cool to say to someone. Not whatsoever.
How did you do it? Have you tips for me how to stay in focus, or how to?
It's a difficult question, because I can't tell you how to feel. The way I did it is, took myself back to before everything happened, like in my life and my career, like why did I play music in the first place? And it's because like it gave me a place to belong, even though, you know, I had, you know, a bunch of killer friends, you know, when I was growing up, but I was very much kind of a loner because I was sticking to music constantly. And I just knew that no matter what, you know, I was going to do, that I could not live the rest of my life without still playing drums, still forming music. And when you have the music flowing through you like that, and you have great support of, like, you know, your family and your trainers and like your lady, you know, and everybody that's, you know, behind you, and especially your band members, you know, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. And, you know, I got back stronger than I ever have been, man. I've been playing better now than I have in years, because all I do is practice. Because I don't take it for granted anymore. I don't take it for granted at all anymore, man. Like, I'll be up at 4 o'clock still playing, 4 o'clock in the morning still playing, and getting yelled at from my lady upstairs, like, telling me to shut up and everything. And I don't even know what time it is, because I've been playing for like 6 hours straight. But I enjoy now in my life playing more than I ever have, because it's like, it just feels, you know, different than it did before, because like sometimes, you know, you're in a groove, like, to where it does become a routine, even though you love it.
Take it for granted, of course.
Yeah, you do take it for granted a little bit. And then I think it was the best thing that honestly ever happened to me. It really was. As much as it sucked and how hard it was, you know, I got myself back. So like, you know, I'm really, really thankful for all the trainers and the doctors and everything, and my lady, and just, you know, my inner strength, and I got back, man.
So sometimes these obstacles can be a blessing.
Oh, they are. They absolutely are, man. It might not seem like it at the time, but as they say, you know, sometimes life takes you down troubled paths, not to hurt you, but to cleanse you and put you down the right path, you know? So I think that's really what it was.
You live in time to gain this world of you. So pathetic, this social grace is getting logical.
You know, all music is different. The fact is, like I always, said, like you'll never learn to play it all because it's impossible, but always strive to. Never, count a certain type of music out. That's why even if like there's a certain type of music that I don't necessarily like, I'll still sit down and, I'll play along with it and trying to figure out, exactly what their perspective on music is and like where they're coming from and trying to understand like what they're trying to say, how their composer is and stuff like that. Just like when I was playing like in grade school or middle school or high school and playing songs that I didn't necessarily want to play, but how much it taught me, And I was like reflect on that. Like, I don't want to play this song. I'd rather be playing, obviously something different. But, I stayed in, band and stuff until, from fourth grade until I graduated and of course went on, out of state, jazz contests. Like when I started playing kit, in fifth grade, in school. I was playing kit before that, like at home. But yeah, man, it's just trying to just expand like your horizons because like I said, like if there's like a certain type of music that you don't necessarily like, but there's something to be learned from it, definitely study it. Even if it takes just like 20 minutes or like 30 minutes out of your practice time, you'll learn a lot more than you think.
Yeah, I focused my drumming because I lost the time. So now I'm bunch of practices, but always 5 minutes, and you have to do the 5 minutes.
Yeah,
no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. It's like like when you go to a gym and like they make you warm up when you just want to go and like just get your exercise on. You're like I don't want to warm up, but you have to. Oh, there's been a ton. It depends on like, what eye-opening to what. What's cool about like making music is like when you create a record, it comes from somewhere. And when you're connecting with people that you see eye to eye on and they're feeling like the same thing that you're feeling or you're feeling the same thing that they are, like you can climb tons of musical mountains with it, man. And the fact is the best reward is when you get out there and you throw it out to a bunch of people. They catch on to it and they throw it back and they've been listening to it for a long time and you come, like especially all the way over here and you get like a crowd reaction, sent back to you like through songs that you wrote in your basement. I mean, that just shows you the power of music and like, how it can move people, and move nations if it, even if it could. It's a real powerful thing. There's always a connection. I don't care. Like, take the Barricade. If you're talking about like festivals and stuff like that, we just got back from South America with Megadeth, and we were dealing with the same type of thing. Those kids and those fans, I won't just say kids because it was all ages, they were so insane, man. It just felt like they were literally on the stage with you. It doesn't matter. The Barricade didn't matter. Like, all the security didn't matter. It was absolutely stunning. Like, those shows. And the same things happen like all over Europe. When we go to Japan, when we go to Australia, Canada, United States, everywhere that we played, it was just, all the fans, they react like a little bit different, but it doesn't matter because like they got their own culture, and that's what the best thing is about touring. So you get to go to all these beautiful places and meet so many different types of people and seeing how like their culture reacts to your music and just music in general. It's a real special thing.
What were your ways to get at least maybe 80% out of yourself? Because there is so much stuff happening for you. Probably you can't do the same 100% every evening.
No, you can't, but I mean, like, the thing is, you don't have to play at 100% all the time to get your passion across or still have one of your best shows. I played shows where the band's been spot on perfect and the audience just hasn't totally been there. And we've played shows that we've maybe been like at like a, you know, like of a grade, like maybe playing like a C plus because we've been on tour for like 8 months straight and the crowd is absolutely ballistic, you know, and like we might not even be feeling it. Then you get sick on the road, you get cold, you get the flu, you know, then you have stuff that happens at home that you have to deal with. You know, being on the road is not as easy as it seems, and it's very taxing on the body and, you know, on the mind. So unless you're really cut out for this and like your belief in music and what you want to do and what you want to portray as far as like giving something back to the music that meant so much to you when you were growing up, it might not be for you because it is hard. It's very, very hard work.
This thing on the stage, man, this is the easy part.
That is totally the easy part. That is like, that's basically like, you know, you spend all your day, you know, doing all this other stuff, you know, and you're still taking, you know, you're away from home, like miles and miles away from home. And you never know what's going on there because, you know, you got your families and, you know, everything. And there's stuff that always goes wrong when you're totally far away and you can't do anything about it because you're on tour. But, you know, no matter what, I would not change one thing, man. I would not change anything. It's been a blast this whole time and very thankful for it.
What is it that shines through the most of your personality on your instrument?
I think it's just if you just the fact that, you know, me stepping on stage and sitting down, connecting with the audience, I always take a real hard look and try and see as many faces possible before I count a song off, just to try and connect with everybody really quick, even though I don't have a lot of time. But I can do it, you know, like, you know, between songs and stuff like that. I'll always like go out and watch a little bit of like the, you know, the opening bands and everything, just to get a vibe of the room and see like how it's, you know, how it feels out there and everything, just to kind of let it soak in before I go on stage. And when I get up there, man, it's kind of like, in a way, it's, first of all, it's a celebration and a thank you. But then once I sit down, it's almost like a blackout, because I kind of just, like, as soon as the 4 count happens and I go into it, it's, the headbanging starts and I just kind of zone out into like another world. I don't see much, you know. I try and focus as much as I can, you know, between songs and communicate with kids and stuff like that. But once I start, it's pretty much in a different galaxy. Yeah, there's a passion. I mean, I know I won't ever mention names, but I mean, I know a ton of bands that, you know, that are huge, and you all know them too. That, you know, not necessarily the tightest bands, but their shows will always go over well because of the passion that they put into it. Like, rock and roll is not supposed to be perfect. It's not. It never has been and never will be. There is bands that are, and sometimes, like, when you see bands like that all the time that are spot on, like note for note perfect every night, it's almost kind of like watching the same movie every night. So it's kind of like, gets a little bit boring after a while. So I kind of like bands that are a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more unpredictable. Well, the thing is, a lot of people, like, through life, they're going to change regardless, because that's just what life is. I mean, it's always going to throw you different curveballs and stuff like that. And people, I mean, no one's going to always be, like, on the exact same page. You can be on the same page and make it work, because there's always got to be compromises in bands. But you can't control anyone's life, man. They're going to do what they're going to want to do. But the thing is, I mean, there's tons of musicians in the world. And, you know, the more people you can play with, I would totally suggest that, because you're always going to learn something from someone else that's going to help you out. You know, I'm still learning from people, you know, like, it's still helping me out immensely. You know, I'm like crossed over into my 40s now, and I'm still learning tons of stuff that I didn't even know. You know, like, if you start thinking that you know everything, realize that you don't know everything. So, you know, the more experiences you can get, you know, that would be my best advice, is play with as many people as possible. Always try to learn as much music as possible, even if you don't like it. And even if you don't take lessons, if you're self-taught. I'm self-taught, actually, and then I started taking lessons again. and just to get someone else's perspective, and it helped me out like crazy, man. I could not believe it, you know. It just went to show me, like, man, I don't know as much as I thought I did, man. You know, and it's tremendously, you know, helped me out a lot, and I've learned a ton of stuff. So I love learning from people. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate that. That was awesome. Thank you guys very much. It's Joey Jordison. I'll see you on stage tonight. And if I don't see you on stage tonight, I'll see you very soon. Thank you very much.
Was it cool for you?
Yeah, it was great. That was great.
Hi there, this is Philip speaking. I'm the host of Drum Talk. And first of all, I want to thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it. It's season 7 already, but it's not only season 7, it's also the 5th anniversary of Drum Talk. And a lot of things have changed over the years, as you may have realized. But there's one thing that is still consistent, which is it's basically just me doing all the things with some helping hands here and there. So I figured maybe there are some folks out there that like my program so much they want to maybe support the channel a little bit, which helps indeed, because I don't have any sponsor or anything whatsoever. Everything I have to pay out of my own pocket. So if you like it a lot, or just a bit, and you feel like giving me a little bit of support, there will be a Patreon page up soon, and I will post the links. And if you feel like it, you can support me there. Anything is cool. So again, thanks for watching and take care. Bye.